I know what you're thinking. Jim, come on now, nothing changes overnight. And you're partially right. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a fortune, a career, a life of significance. But what if I told you that there is one habit, just one, that, when adopted, begins producing dividends immediately? A habit that, from the very first day, starts to compound and grow, like money well invested? That habit is taking responsibility for your life. Complete. Unequivocal. Responsibility. No exceptions. No excuses. No blame. This is where the real transformation begins. Let me tell you why this one habit is so powerful that it will begin changing your life from the very first day you adopt it. Most people live their entire lives in reaction mode. Something happens and they react. Their boss criticizes them. They get defensive. The economy takes a downturn. They panic. Their spouse says something hurtful. They retreat or lash out. They are like leaves in the wind, blown about by circumstances beyond their control. But what if, starting tonight, you decided that you and you alone are responsible for everything in your life, your successes, your failures, your happiness, your misery, your wealth, your poverty, your health, your sickness, everything. Now, this is not about blame. This is about power. Because when you take responsibility, you take back your power. Why this changes everything. If you believe that your current circumstances are the result of the economy, or your upbringing, or your boss, or your spouse, or anything else outside yourself, then you are powerless to change those circumstances, unless those external factors change first. You've surrendered control of your life to things you cannot control. And if you wait for the world to change before you improve your life, my friend, you may be waiting a very long time. But the moment you say, I am responsible, the game changes. You stop waiting. You start doing. Because now, the power is in your hands. And that is the most liberating realization of all. When you take responsibility for your actions, your choices, and your outcomes, you unlock a new level of control over your destiny. Because if you're responsible for where you are today, that means you have the power to change where you'll be tomorrow. That, my friend, is the first step toward real transformation. And it starts right now. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that the most successful people take responsibility for everything, even when it isn't their fault? It's because they understand something powerful. Taking responsibility is the difference between winners and everyone else. Most people, when faced with failure, look for something or someone to blame. They say it's the economy, it's my boss, it's my upbringing, it's bad luck. But winners look in the mirror. They say, I made choices that led me here. And if I made choices that got me here, I can make choices that will take me somewhere better. That's the difference, the excuse trap. Now let's talk about excuses. Excuses are easy. They make you feel better in the moment. But excuses are like quicksand. They keep you stuck. And the longer you stay stuck, the harder it becomes to climb out. I've seen it time and time again. People say, Jim, you don't understand. My situation is different. And I tell them, my friend, your situation may be unique, but the principles of success never change. Because excuses are the great illusion of life. They make you feel like you're protecting yourself, but in reality, you're building walls around your own potential. And here's the truth. The more excuses you make, the less control you have over your life. And the less control you have, the more powerless you feel. The more powerless you feel, the more you blame circumstances instead of changing them. But the good news is, you can break free anytime you choose. The question that changes everything. I want you to start asking yourself a new question. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Which is a powerless question. Ask yourself, what can I do about it? Because that is an empowering question. That question puts you back in control. That question turns obstacles into opportunities. That question changes your life. Because the reality is, life is not about what happens to you. Life is about how you respond. And when you shift from asking powerless questions to powerful ones, you start thinking differently. And when you think differently, you act differently. And when you act differently, your results change. And when your results change, your life changes. It all starts with that one shift. Here's what winners understand. They know that life is not fair. They know that not everyone starts at the same place. But they also know that complaining about it won't change a thing. So instead of waiting for life to be fair, instead of waiting for the government to fix things, instead of waiting for their circumstances to magically change, they take responsibility, they focus on what they can control, and that mindset, my friend, makes all the difference. Because here's the secret. You don't have to control everything to succeed. You just have to control your response to what happens. And when you do that, when you take full responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, and your habits, you become unstoppable. Because nothing can shake a person who refuses to be shaken. And that, my friend, is the mindset shift that separates winners from the rest. There's a subtle yet profound shift that happens when you embrace responsibility. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, you begin to see yourself as the victor, the one who holds the power to change anything. You stop waiting for someone to come along and save you. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. You stop waiting for life to hand you what you want, and you start creating your own opportunities. You stop blaming your past for your present. You stop blaming the people who've hurt you, and you start taking ownership of your journey. Because when you take responsibility, you stop giving your power away to anyone or anything. That's when you take control of your future. And let me tell you, when you do that, when you finally step into the role of the creator of your own life, you will begin to unlock a potential that was always within you. No more excuses, only action. It's easy to be busy. It's easy to make excuses about why you can't achieve your goals. But here's the truth. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Being busy is about spinning your wheels, making excuses, and convincing yourself that you're doing something worthwhile. Being productive is about taking massive action in the right direction, even when it's hard. Winners understand that success is not about having the perfect circumstances. It's about taking action despite the circumstances. Success is about pushing through the doubts. It's about moving forward even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up and doing the work no matter what, because when you take responsibility, you take the first step. And when you take the first step, you're already ahead of 99% of people who are still sitting on the sidelines, making excuses, creating your own luck. You've probably heard people say, that person is just lucky. Let me tell you something. Luck is a myth. Luck is what people say when they can't explain someone else's success. But winners know the truth. Success doesn't come from luck. It comes from preparation, persistence, and the willingness to take responsibility for your outcomes. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for good things to just happen. You begin to create your own luck. You become someone who makes things happen rather than someone who waits for things to happen. And when you do that, when you stop relying on luck, you will start to see the world open up to you in ways you never imagined. The key to true freedom, the beauty of taking responsibility is that it leads to freedom. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop being a prisoner of your circumstances. You stop being a victim to the things that happened to you in the past. And you stop living in fear of what might happen in the future. Instead, you live with the confidence that you have the ability to shape your own destiny. You have the power to change your life. And when you take full responsibility for your actions and decisions, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Because true freedom doesn't come from external factors. It comes from the internal belief that you control your fate. When you believe that, everything changes. And that, my friend, is the ultimate form of freedom. Taking responsibility is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. It's about showing up every single day and owning your choices, your actions, and your outcomes. It's about consistently holding yourself accountable for your life and never letting excuses slip back in. Success is built on the small actions you take consistently. It's about doing what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And let me tell you, when you build that level of consistency into your life, there's no stopping you. Because while others are making excuses, you'll be out there getting results. That's the power of responsibility. Now let's dive deeper into the next critical concept: consistency. Success doesn't happen overnight. No one wakes up and magically becomes successful, wealthy, or fulfilled. It's the result of consistent, focused effort over time. But consistency is a funny thing. It's easy to talk about being consistent. It's easy to say, I'm going to make a change, but sticking with it? That's where most people fail. Why? Because consistency requires discipline. It's not the big dramatic moves that create success. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions that, when done repeatedly, lead to massive results. You see, we live in a world of instant gratification. We want things now, quickly, easily, without much effort. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. There's a principle in the world of success that says, what you do in the short term determines your long-term results. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you need to understand this. The journey is long. It's full of ups and downs, twists and turns. But it's the consistency of your actions that determines whether you will win or lose. It's about doing the right things day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. Even when the world is telling you to quit. Even when you're exhausted. You see, every day you do something productive, you are stacking small wins on top of each other. You are setting the stage for a bigger breakthrough. The power of small habits. Let me give you an example of how this works. Let's say you're trying to lose weight. Most people want instant results. They want to see huge changes right away. And when they don't see those immediate results, they get frustrated. They give up. But here's the truth. If you do one small thing consistently, like walking 30 minutes a day, you'll start seeing results in a few weeks. And after a few months, you'll be amazed at the transformation. That's how consistency works. You do something small and simple every day, and over time, it compounds. Now imagine if you did something like this for a year. What would your life look like? How different would your body, your career, or your bank account be? That's the power of consistency. It's not about dramatic change. It's about sustained effort, how small actions add up. The key to consistent success is understanding the compounding effect. When you take small actions every day, they build up over time. Think about your bank account. If you deposit a small amount of money each day, just a little bit, nothing too big, it won't seem like much at first. But over time, that small deposit starts to add up. And the longer you keep depositing, the more interest it earns and the more it grows. Success is the same way. The small actions you take today build up, and soon they begin to compound into something extraordinary, focusing on what you can control. Here's a reality check for you. You can't control everything. You can't control the economy, your boss's behavior, or the actions of other people. But you can control your own actions. You can control what you choose to do every single day. And when you focus on controlling what you can, you become unstoppable. Winners don't waste their time worrying about things they can't control. They focus on what they can control: their thoughts, their behaviors, and their daily habits. And in doing so, they change their world. The 1% improvement every day. The small wins add up in ways that are often invisible at first. But here's the trick. Instead of trying to make giant leaps, focus on making a 1% improvement every day. That's right, just 1%. Let's say you're reading a book, learning a new skill, or working on a project. If you improve just 1% each day, that may not seem like much in the moment, but over time, that 1% begins to snowball. In a year, you've improved by 365%. Now that's how you get extraordinary results. It's not about doing one massive thing and hoping it works. It's about doing the little things every single day, no matter how small they seem. Consistency is about showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Even when the rewards aren't immediate. even when you can't see the results just yet. The big results come from small efforts. Think about the most successful people in the world. Do you think they reached their level of success by making huge, dramatic moves? No. They did it by consistently making smart decisions, day after day. The big results come from small, deliberate efforts. But the key is sticking with those efforts even when things seem slow. You have to trust the process. You have to trust that if you keep putting in the work, the results will come. It's like planting a seed. The seed doesn't grow overnight, but if you water it every day, it will eventually sprout. And over time, it will grow into something much bigger than you could have imagined. You see, the biggest mistake most people make is thinking that success happens quickly. Success takes time. And the most successful people, they're the ones who understand that. They're the ones who have the patience to wait for their hard work to pay off. They have the persistence to keep going when the results aren't visible. Patience and persistence are essential parts of consistency. It's about sticking to your plan even when things get tough. Because success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's about taking one step at a time, even when you feel like giving up. What I want you to understand is this. Consistency is a daily ritual. You need to wake up every day with a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Then, you need to do the little things every day that will get you closer to that goal. Whether it's waking up early, working on your goals for 30 minutes, or making healthier choices. It's about building that daily habit. And soon enough, those small habits will start to shape your future in ways you can't even imagine. Make consistency your new habit. Consistency doesn't just happen by chance, it's a choice. It's a choice to show up every day, no matter what. And when you make that choice, you'll see your life transform in ways you never thought possible. Remember, success is not about making huge moves. It's about the small, consistent steps you take every day. And those small steps, when compounded over time, will lead you to the life you've always dreamed of. So if you want to change your life, start with one thing: consistency. Show up every day, keep moving forward, and trust the process. Because that's the habit that will change your life overnight. The ultimate habit that will change your life overnight is not a technique or a shortcut. It's the decision to take full, unyielding responsibility for everything that happens in your life. I know what you're thinking, Jim, life is full of things I can't control. How can I be responsible for everything? But here's the secret. Responsibility doesn't mean you control everything. It means you control how you respond to what happens. And in that power lies the ability to change your destiny. Most people go through life thinking that circumstances happen to them. They point to their upbringing, their boss, the economy, or bad luck as the reason they can't achieve more. But what if I told you that the moment you stop blaming everything and everyone else, your life would start to change? Responsibility is not about being perfect or always getting things right. It's about owning your actions, your choices, and your reactions. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "This is my life, and I'm responsible for it." When you take responsibility, you begin to see things differently. The world no longer happens to you. Instead, you start to see it as something you can shape and mold. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity to fall in your lap. You stop hoping that someone else will come and rescue you. Instead, you realize that you have the power to make changes right now. This is where the real magic happens. The moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life, you break free from the victim mentality. No longer are you at the mercy of external forces. You are in control, and that feeling of empowerment is unmatched. You see, people who take responsibility for their lives understand that they are the creators of their own reality. They know that their success or failure isn't dictated by outside circumstances. It's determined by their decisions, their actions, and their mindset. Taking responsibility means you stop blaming other people for where you are. Your success or failure is not your boss's fault, your parents' fault, or the economy's fault. It's your responsibility. And when you own that, something incredible happens. You start to make better decisions. Every successful person I know has made this shift. They've stopped waiting for permission or the perfect moment. They've stopped pointing fingers and blaming the world. Instead, they look at what they can control and take action on it. This doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. Life will always throw challenges your way. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But when you take responsibility, you take away the power those obstacles have over you. You see them for what they are, just temporary challenges to be overcome. And here's the beautiful part about responsibility. It leads to growth. The more you take responsibility, the more you learn and grow. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to improve yourself. Each setback is just a lesson in resilience. And each failure becomes a stepping stone towards success. Now, let me make one thing clear. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself. It doesn't mean you should shoulder all the burdens of life alone. It means you take ownership of your own actions and decisions, and that includes asking for help when you need it. But it starts with the internal shift, the decision to stop looking outside yourself for reasons why things aren't working and start looking inward at what you can do to change your circumstance. It's the habit of waking up every day and saying, I am responsible for this day. I am responsible for my choices. I am responsible for my success and my failures. When you adopt this habit, everything changes. The world doesn't control you anymore. You control how you show up in the world. And that's a powerful, life-changing realization. By taking responsibility, you unlock your true potential. You take charge of your life. And when you do that, you'll start to notice something extraordinary. Things will begin to fall into place. Opportunities will start appearing out of nowhere. People will be drawn to you because of your newfound confidence and determination. You'll be able to overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. That's the power of responsibility. It's the one habit that will change everything for you, starting right now. When you decide that you are the architect of your own life, you begin to create something far more beautiful than you ever imagined. So take that first step today. Own your life. Embrace the responsibility. And watch as your world transforms in ways you never thought possible. Now, we've covered the life-changing habit of taking responsibility. But there's one more crucial ingredient that will ensure your success, and that is consistency. You see, success doesn't come from a single big decision or a one-time burst of effort. It's not about the dramatic moments that you see in movies or read about in books. Success is built on the small, everyday actions you take over and over again. It's the consistency of effort that truly transforms lives. Here's where many people fall short. They start off with great enthusiasm. They make bold resolutions and promises to themselves. But as time passes, their commitment fades. They lose steam, and before they know it, they're back where they started, stuck in the same routine, making the same mistakes. But the key to success isn't in making grand gestures or attempting to change everything all at once. The key is in taking small, consistent actions. These little actions, when repeated day after day, begin to compound, like interest in a savings account. Think about it. One small habit, repeated every day, might seem insignificant at first. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier, reading for just 15 minutes a day, or taking a moment to reflect on your goals. But when you consistently do these small actions over time, they begin to add up. And that's when you start seeing big results. Consistency is the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't. It's the difference between success and failure. You see, it's not the occasional burst of effort that makes the difference. It's the daily grind, the small steps taken day after day. Let me give you an example. If you were to commit to reading just 15 pages a day, you'd be amazed at how much you could learn over time. In 1 year, you would have read over 5,000 pages, more than enough to master a new skill or dive deep into a subject of interest. But it starts with that one small step of picking up a book every day. It's the same with fitness. You don't need to train like an Olympic athlete to get in shape. A 20-minute workout every day will do wonders for your body. It's the consistency of doing it every day that brings about the change. But people get discouraged when they don't see results after a few days or even a few weeks. The truth is, those results are coming They're just compounding in the background, waiting for you to keep going. That's why I always say that success is predictable. It's not a mystery. It's the result of consistent effort over time. And here's the best part. Consistency doesn't require perfection. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You just have to show up. You just have to keep going. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, the small steps are adding up. Now I want you to think about something. Every action you take, every decision you make, is either moving you closer to your goals or further away. There's no in between. Every day is an opportunity to make progress or fall back into old habits. So what will you choose today? Will you choose the path of consistency, or will you let your dreams slip away because of distractions, excuses, or lack of commitment? Let me share something important with you. Success isn't easy. It takes hard work, discipline, and above all, consistency. But when you commit to those small daily actions, something incredible happens. You begin to feel unstoppable. You begin to build momentum. And momentum, my friend, is one of the most powerful forces in the world. When you're consistent, you can't fail. It's simply a matter of time. You will get better. You will improve. And before you know it, you'll have built something extraordinary from the ground up. Consistency also teaches you one of the most important lessons in life, patience. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want things now. But success doesn't work that way. It takes time. And that's okay. The more you embrace the process and stay consistent, the more you'll learn to appreciate the journey. I want to challenge you to commit to one small habit today. It doesn't have to be big or overwhelming. Just pick one thing you can do every day and commit to doing it consistently. Maybe it's something as simple as journaling every night, making your bed in the morning, or taking 10 minutes to plan your day. The important thing is that you take that first step, and then you take the next one, and then the next one. Because when you look back, you'll realize that those small, consistent actions were the building blocks of your success. And just like compound interest, those small habits will pay you back tenfold. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the key to transforming your life, one small step at a time. So, embrace the habit of consistency and watch as your life changes before your eyes. As we come to the end of this message, I want you to remember one thing. Your life is yours to shape. The power to change it, to make it extraordinary, lies within you. It's not in the hands of anyone else, not in the circumstances you face, and not in the opportunities that seem to slip away. It's in the choices you make, the responsibility you take, and the consistent effort you put in every single day. You may not see the results overnight. That's okay. Life's greatest transformations don't happen in an instant. They unfold gradually over time through the consistent application of effort. But know this, every step you take in the right direction brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. So, start today, embrace the power of taking responsibility for your life. Commit to consistency in everything you do, and watch as the life you've always wanted becomes the life you're living. The change you've been waiting for begins now, and it starts with you. Take that first step today, because your future self will thank you for it.